As you're now moving through a new aspect of time in your earthly plane where that is concerned, an important aspect of time, dear one, a transition in your aspect of time. As we said to you, we came to do the last time we connected with you, dear ones, as you move into your new year of 2021 in your month of January, it was a continuation of looking at what needs to be released in the world, in your third dimensional realm, and what needs to be released within you where that is concerned. And what you are seeing now, dear one, is a conglomeration of what is transpiring in the third dimensional realm or what needs to be released in the third dimensional realm where that is concerned. What you are seeing, dear one, is a clear sense, a clear case in your vernacular of duality where that is concerned. The duality within each and every one of you, the duality in the world outside of yourself, the duality in your country where that is concerned, and where there is duality outside of yourself, there is duality within each and every one of you. So in what is transpiring, dear ones, is the energies that came in your month of August are still working where that is concerned. But what they're doing now, dear ones, is continually cleaning out and dredging up the old where that is concerned. So what you're seeing in your third dimensional realm outside of yourself, dear one, is a continuation of the old, dense, lower vibrational energies that are moving in and out of your third dimensional realm where that is concerned. And as we said, dear ones, what is transpiring is the old underneath everything, the old illusions, the old habits, patterns, rituals, and behaviors. All of the old is fully being released and moving to the surface where that is concerned. In many ways, what you are seeing, as we said to you, each and every time we come to you, well, what is transpiring, dear ones, is looking at the illusions of the world outside of you, looking at the calamity of the world outside of you, looking at the folly of the world outside of you. That all pertains to the truth where that is concerned. So underneath of what is transpiring on the surface and the outside, dear one, there are depths of truth within it where that is concerned. What are the depths of truth within you where that is concerned, that is surfacing now that you witness what is transpiring in your third dimensional realm? As we said to you each and every time we come to you, when you look outside of yourself in the third dimensional realm, the question to ask yourself is, how does that make me feel? Does it resonate with me? Doesn't it resonate with me? And move within to see what is bringing up and transpiring in the depth and breadth of you where that is concerned. But what you're seeing in the world outside of your dear ones is more of the old surfacing, but beneath that old there is truth. The old is surfacing. The way in which, dear ones, you begin to heal within yourself in the microcosm is when you move within and allow the old to surface. The old habits, patterns, rituals, behaviors. The old feelings that have been suppressed and repressed. All of the old needs to come up, the wounding and the memories with that old. And with all of that surfaces deep, repressed and suppressed feelings that will illuminate what is needed to heal within you. But it is those deep feelings, those deep suppressed and repressed feelings that are surfacing within you, and the way in which you are reacting and responding to those feelings, where you are quite possibly projecting those feelings out onto the world. The deep encrusted anger, the deep encrusted sadness that is surfacing within you as you begin the personal process of purging the depth and breadth of you of the old and the old wounding. So the process within you that surfaces, quite possibly at times in your vernacular, is not very pretty. And you feel it. You feel yourself moving through a shadow period. You feel yourself moving through the dark night of the soul as the old is dredged up within you. And then when the energies moved in back in your month of August that began that process, and as we said when we came to the last time you met with us and we met with you, that the releasing process will still continue into your first month of January and the first 6 months of your year of 2021. As you see that quite possibly within yourself, seeing what is transpiring out in the world that is triggering more of the depth and breadth of your wounding, and this is transpiring within you, you are then seeing it outside of yourself. So what is transpiring in the world outside of you simply there are symptoms of this process. The old being revealed, and within that old, truth coming up behind it. So in many ways, dear ones, if you look at what is transpiring in the depth and breadth of you, when you endeavor to bring the old in your life, to move within your heart space, well, you know healing needs to take place. Before that healing needs to take place, you must dredge that old up and allow that old to come to the surface. And with that comes these repressed and suppressed feelings, mainly the feelings of anger, sadness, despair. And then when those feelings surface, it is up to you how you deal with those feelings. With those feelings that surface come a charge with those feelings, as we have said to you many, many times before. There is energy connected to all of your feelings. So if someone or something triggers you from outside of yourself and a feeling of anger comes up, that charge comes with it. And then you may project upon that other person, or in your vernacular, act out that anger in order to flush that energy out. We have given you many tools, as many others have given you many tools, to reduce that charge and release that charge. But that comes through awareness and consciousness. What you are seeing outside of yourself right now in the world of form is unconsciousness. An unconscious society without tools, without love, without compassion. So they are being triggered within them through something old that they view outside of yourselves. And we brought that to your attention many, many, many times. The old of your governmental systems, the old of your political systems, the old of your corporate systems, the old world of form, and those who want to keep that old in place because it's comfortable. So in many ways, what is being triggered is that old. Many see the need for shift and change. Well, they are seeing the old outside of them that is mirroring back the old inside of them. And it brings up the wounds of the child, a 5-year-old, a helpless 5-year-old, a helpless 10-year-old, based upon how they were conditioned and treated by mom and dad. And now, as they move within deeper, these feelings, these charged, energetic feelings are coming to the surface. And many have no idea or tools how to use those tools. And they don't have the tools. And if they have the tools, they have no idea how to use the tools. So the energy is projected outside of themselves onto someone else. So you're seeing, dear one, in the macrocosm is what is transpiring in the microcosm for many. And this all is based upon the old world of form and those attempting to keep the old world of form in place. But as we said to you, we came to you at the last time we spoke to you, dear ones, it is now moving into a place of asking yourself, where am I taking responsibility for myself as the adult? You see, dear ones, as the wounded child acts out, the 5-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old acts out, they know nothing of responsibility. They are acting out. They are acting out to release the repressed and suppressed feelings inside of themselves. But they know no responsibility. So we came to you at the last wonderful and most glorious time you joined with us and we joined with you. We said to you that your year of 2021 is a year of moving within and taking full responsibility for yourself as an adult. And when those responsibilities are not taken, then, dear ones, there are consequences involved. What are those consequences? The consequences of holding you accountable for your actions. The consequences of bringing to your attention that there are consequences for your behavior. Whatever those consequences are for yourself. If in fact, dear ones, you act out in a fit of anger and rage, and it may harm another as projected onto them, there are consequences for that, dear one. But you're willing, dear ones, to stand up and face the consequences of your actions, but are the actions of a 5, 10, and 15-year-old. So in many ways, dear one, we simply ask you to look at the word consequences. As you act out in a fit of anger and disruption and sadness and project your energy onto another in a place where it is simply the wounded child acting out, you are projected onto another that may trigger another as well. And then, in your vernacular, there may be a clash, where you are triggering the wounds of another triggers the wounds of you, and you move into the clash of a wounded child. That is what you see, what is transpiring in the world outside of you, dear ones. And in that moment, dear ones, each and every one of you can hearken back to a situation in your life where you felt a rush of repressed and suppressed feeling, where you were triggered by another, quite possibly outside of yourself. And in that moment in time, you projected those feelings out onto another, which more than likely, dear ones, triggered another. And then they, as they were triggered, as the wounds of their child was triggered, they in turn projected back to you. And there came a standoff. The question we ask each and every one of you, when did the adult enter the fray? When and if did the adult enter the fray? So we're speaking to you about, dear ones, the wounds and the projection of repressed and suppressed feelings, memories, out onto the world. And what you're seeing mirrored back to you in the macrocosm of the third dimensional realm around you is that. So what we ask you to do, dear ones, as you move within and begin to see the repressed and suppressed feelings, the old wounding, the wounded child will quickly look at mom and dad and want to blame them. And in many ways, rightly so. And the wounded child may want to react and act out upon mom and dad, or someone else who may be a proxy or portraying mom and dad to them. So the wounded child projects out onto another, whether it may be mom or dad or not, projects that wounding and those suppressed and repressed feelings out onto another, blaming and shaming them for where they are in their life. And rightly so, because the wounded 5-year-old, 7-year-old, and 6-year-old has no idea or tools to utilize. But it is the adult who does. And the adult is you. So as you look out into your third dimension realm, what you are seeing in the macrocosm is this. Many wonderful, most glorious souls who still seek outside of themselves a wounded, mythical, deified leader to lead them to the promised land. And that in many ways, dear one, is what your wounded child within you is looking to do. Are you still looking outside of yourself for another to lead you to the promised land, to make you safe and secure? A deified, mythical individual outside of yourself whom you have deified that will lead you to the promised land. You see, dear ones, what you are seeing is the eruption of the wounded child en masse. The eruption of duality en masse. The eruption of fear and anger and sadness en masse. All in the disguise of an adult. All these wonderful and most glorious souls looking outside of themselves for someone and something to blame. Where are you still doing that, dear ones? Where are you still looking outside of yourself for something and someone to blame because your life is where your life is? As we said, we came to you at the wonderful, most glorious time that you met with us, we met with you. Your year of 2021 is a year of fully taking responsibility for yourself as an adult and shifting and changing your life accordingly. But as you move through your month of January and for the first 6 months of your year of 2021, more needs to be released within you, dear ones. Will you do this in peace, community, harmony, and equality? Because it is most important to understand, dear ones, that you have been given many, many tools to utilize. Are you utilizing these tools? Are you having your feelings? Are you utilizing the tools that when repressed and suppressed feelings surface? Are you utilizing the tools to discharge that energy and not project that energy onto others? And then, when that happens, quite possibly cause a conflict with another, which, underneath it all, is exactly what the wounded child wants. I am going to cause a conflict with mom and dad to prove to them how they disserved me. And that is all well and true, dear one. But you are the adult. It is the wounded child that is still projecting out to mom and dad, telling them how they disserved them. And now they have to pay for it. So it is most important, dear ones, as we come to you at this wonderful and most glorious time, to see all of this. To see the mirror outside of you. We said to you when we came to you this wonderful, most glorious time, dear ones, your year of 2021 is the year of looking into the mirror. So as what is transpiring in the world outside of yourself, and you see this, are you looking into a mirror of what may be transpiring within you? You see, dear ones, we asked you the last time we came to you, are you still looking outside of yourself for a mythical deified leader to lead you to the promised land? Are you still looking for another to take care of you, to keep you safe and secure? Are you still looking at another to give you life? Are you still looking at another to justify the energy that's moving up so you can project it onto another? You see, they are to blame. He is to blame. She is to blame. What are you going to do about it? Is that taking responsibility, dear ones? Blaming and shaming others for where you think you are in your life? Blaming and shaming others and then projecting that energy out onto them will serve no one, dear ones. As we've been coming to you, dear ones, over the last many years, we've asked you, dear ones, based upon what is transpiring in the world outside of you, where is your truth? What is your truth? Is your truth love, peace, community, harmony, equality, intimacy, oneness, and love? Is that your truth, dear ones? Many of you may say yes. But is it, dear ones? You may know that that should be your truth in your mental body. But have you, dear ones, decidedly, in a personal process, moved within the depth and breadth of your heart space to begin to be that truth? Or are you still living your life guided by that wounded child, looking for mom and dad to blame for where you are? Mom and dad is the ones who are responsible for where I am in my life right now. And now I am going to act out, and I am going to hold mom and dad responsible for where I am in my life right now. Hear those words, dear ones. Are you still looking outside of yourself, looking for mom and dad, or the mythical figures who you have deified outside of yourself, and blame them for where you are in your life right now? This is why we said to you, dear ones, that your year of 2021 is about beginning to assume and take responsibility for you. For if you continually blame and shame others for where you are in your life, you will then act upon it inevitably. Blaming and shaming others for where you are, what they haven't done for you, what they should have done for you, what they are supposed to do for you. What are you doing for yourselves, dear ones? What are you doing for yourselves? It is time, dear ones, for each and every one of you to move within, to see all of this, and ask yourself these questions. Because what you are seeing transpiring in the third dimensional realm outside of you are those who are blaming and shaming others, led by a mythical deified leader, encouraged by a mythical deified leader, their mythical deified leader. But in essence, that mythical deified leader, and it's most important, dear ones, to focus on the word mythical. Because to them, they have just received confirmation and permission that they can act out in their blame and shame of others. This mythical deified leader has given permission to the wounded child to act out and project and blame and shame others for where they are in their life. We will say that again, dear ones. For these wonderful and most glorious souls, they have looked outside of themselves to this mythical deified leader, simply to give them permission to project their wounds, their anger, their feelings, to blame and shame others for where they are in their life. You see, dear ones, as you move on the road of self-mastery and begin to allow the adult to, dear ones, guide you in life, when the wounds of the child surface, you will be conscious and aware and know that. But if you are moving on a path of self-mastery, mastering the self, then there is no one outside of you, dear ones, that will incite that wounded child, because the adult will not let them. Because you, as the adult, are in charge of your life. You are conscious and aware, because you have moved to a place of loving, honoring, and valuing yourself. You have moved to a place of independence within you that is individuated and has individuated from mom and dad. You are utilizing your tools, that when your feelings rise and the energy behind those feelings rise, you have tools to utilize to release that charge, release that energy, and have your feelings, because the feelings of the wounded child, and then nurture yourself. So each and every one of you, look outside of yourself and see what is transpiring in the world outside of yourself. How does that make you feel? What is it triggering inside of you? Are you looking for a mythical, deified leader to bring you to a promised land? Or simply opening up for guidance and support from another as the adult, conscious that what I see transpiring in the world is triggering these feelings within me, sadness and anger, perhaps. I'm not quite sure right now, as I move quite possibly in a blind spot of what to do. So what I will do, making a conscious choice as an adult, is seek guidance and support outside of myself. You're not blaming or shaming another for the feelings that are surfacing within you. That is what a 5-year-old does. Blaming and shaming, looking for mom and dad, looking for the mom and dad figure outside of yourself to blame and shame for what you are feeling. And many of these wonderful, most glorious souls who see outside of yourself, that is what they are doing. Looking for a mom and dad figure outside of themselves to blame and shame them for where they are in their life. But it is also important to understand, dear ones, of what is being revealed in the world, as we have said many, many, many times before. The truth is being revealed. Untruths and truths are being revealed in the world outside of you, as untruths and truths are being revealed within you. The illusions of the world of form outside of yourself are being revealed. And when those illusions are being revealed, dear ones, they trigger feelings inside of you. And then it is the wounded child who wants to blame the wonderful and most glorious souls outside of yourself who perpetrate those illusions based upon benefiting themselves. So where are you, dear ones? As what is transpiring in the world outside of yourself is unfolding, where are you, dear ones? Where are you right now, dear ones, within the depth and breadth of your heart space? And what do you need? What do you need? Are you ready to blame and shame another, dear ones? Or can you look outside of yourself and simply say, truth is rising. Truth is rising. But most importantly, understand that when you project the energy of your feelings outside of yourself onto another, there will be consequences in your life, dear one. And whatever those consequences may be, another being triggered and acting out back to you. Whatever those consequences may be, dear one, when you project your feelings outside of yourself onto others, there are always consequences, dear ones. There are always consequences. What are you willing to do right now, dear ones, in order to see the depth and breadth of what is transpiring within you and what is transpiring in the world outside of yourself? What are you prepared to do right now, dear ones, that can begin to shift and change your need to look outside of yourself to blame and shame mom and dad? To look outside of yourself to be validated and loved? What mythical, deified leaders are you looking to outside of yourself, dear ones? Thinking that they will give you all of the answers, but in reality will be giving you permission and the wounded child permission to project and act out. So then, dear ones, as we take our leave of this wonderful, most glorious time, it's most important and prudent upon each and every one of you, dear one, to heed this message, if in fact you choose to do so. You are moving through a very tenuous time in your third dimensional realm. A very fragile time in your third dimensional realm that ultimately will forge great shifts and changes within you and the world outside of yourself. You're moving through a shadow period, a dark night of the soul. And as you well know, when you move through shadow periods in the dark night of the soul, what needs to be illuminated in that will be. So what you are seeing outside of yourself is what needs to be illuminated through the shadow period and dark night of the soul that your earthly plane is moving through right now. And as we said, dear one, this will continue through the first 6 months of your year of 2021.